Hello friends of the electrified charging fun and welcome to Electrified Speicher, your channel all around Škoda's e-mobility, route and charge planning. And what about getting chargers planned on the route? What about get good route guidance? And what options do you have? Well, you will know after this video. And as with every video of this series, this is for those who are starting out with a Škoda EV or who are switching over from another brand to a Škoda EV. So if you are already an experienced driver, you may not find a lot of new information. And before that noise gets too noisy, let's go in the car and check the route and charge planning. Here we go. When it comes to route and charge planning, there are so many options in your Škoda EV. Yet we start out rather simple with a search to go to a location. You can tap on the map here or simply tap up here on the search icon, go to search, and let's say we want to go to Mladá Boleslav, where the car comes from. I don't do it with voice, I'm just tapping it in, hit that, go to the city center, hit start, and here we go. Charge planning is already done. You've got two chargers along the route and route planning is also done. And this is how you might already know it in your car. But there are a lot of things you can do to tinker this route and to tinker the charge planning. Well, first off, let's start with some intermediate destinations. What if I say, yes, it's nice to go to Mladá, but first I want to go to Munich. So I enter Munich, continue, stop over, not directly because then it would get replaced. And now you can see, first I go to Munich, then I go to Mladá Boleslav. And since I'm loving this, let's go to another location. Let's say Regensburg, which is also along the route. Now I picked the wrong one. I don't mean Regensdorf, I mean Regensburg in Germany. Continue, stop over. And it's calculating the route. And now he first wants to go to Regensburg and then he wants to go to Munich. That's not how I would do it because I want to do it the other wise around. So rather simple. Tap on the destination you want to change, drag and drop it, and the route gets recalculated. That looks much better. First Munich, then Regensburg, then Mladá Boleslav. But what if I don't want to go to Regensburg? Well, simply slide to the left and delete the intermediate destination. There you go, and again the route gets recalculated. Let's stop that route for now, and of course it will ask me just to skip the next stopover or to stop the route guidance completely. Yes, we stop it completely because we want to talk a bit about searching for destinations. Well, you can enter them here above. You can also use LoRa. You don't have to tap here. You can just use the keyword or tap on the steering wheel, but I want to talk about that option here. Here you can enter a very precise destination. And of course you've got autocomplete. So if I search for streets here in Chur, you see we can go there. And now I enter a house number. Well, 4 doesn't exist, so number 6. And there you go. Of course, you can enter GPS coordinates, geolocations. But it's easier to do this here. Enter latitude and longitude. Let's do this. Let's enter some. Don't know where we will go now. I have no clue. So, and now and longitude, let's say we go there and hit map. And we are off-road in the ocean, so let's zoom out. And there you see, okay, I can't go there, but it's rather easy to enter geolocation if needed. So let's head back to our search. Also, you might notice that we've got some favorites up here. You can alter them. I'll show you in a minute. For example, you have charging stations here. And if you enter charging station, you can say, show me nearby. And if there's a route active, let's do that again, maybe to Zurich. And you go there. It will be slightly different. Now, it will also offer you en route and near Zurich. And you can just say, show me those charging stations along the route. And you get that list. But Zurich is way too close to do this. So let's do this again, but with Mladá Boleslav. because then we can also talk a bit about charging and charge planning. We go there. And if you don't want to take the route the car is expecting you to take, hit that button. And on that button you get the alternative routes as well. Well, this is the preferred route of your Škoda EV. Well, if you want to go, you can go there. You can even go there and simply decide for the route you want. And I want to take the shortest route. Use selected route. Well, what if I don't like that charge planning which is done here? Of course you can alter the charge planning. Just tap on the charger and hit other charging stations. Now you get a list of charging stations, yet these are a lot of stations, and if you're on a long distance trip you won't charge at a 22 kilowatts charger, so filter them. Activate the filter, go over 100 kilowatts and maybe say only Ionity. Wow, that looks much better. You see, the car has decided to charge there, yet I want to have that Ionity. Simply tap on it, add, and the charger gets replaced. There you go. Now I've got this charger, but the car thinks, well, I won't reach that charger with the current state of charge. I have to charge there before. And well, you can't delete chargers the car plans automatically. As you can see, I can't swipe to the left, yet you can change chargers you add manually, swipe to the left and delete them. But maybe this is not what you want. So again, other chargers and pick one which comes a bit before this one. So let's take this one. Add. And here you go. Now you've got a new charger where you can charge up and another one. But what if you want to replace your manually planned charger? Well, I'm sorry, you can't. There is no option to say other chargers here. You first have to delete it and then replan it. It's not like here where you have other charging stations. Unfortunately, you don't have more filters than those I show you. You've got those filters on this map also. You can hit here, but you can also filter for Power Pass, the charging tariffs of Škoda and Ionity. You can't filter you for your preferred providers. I'm sorry about that. But of course you could search for them, which is not that much handy. But let's stick with that route. One thing you can do on this map here is tap there and you see when you will reach your destination, and here is the time remaining to go there. Now I think you've got a really good overview what this planner is capable of, yet we did not even touch all the settings, and let's do that now. Before we now enter the wonderland of those settings here, which are a lot, let's talk a bit more about destinations, because the search bar is not the only thing you have. Of course you have that destinations button. You've got all the last destinations where you simply can pick one from. You've got favorites. You can set home and work, and then of course you can use voice control like drive me home or drive me to work, and you can add even more favorites. For example, maybe you remember that we went to Zurich and you want Zurich as a favorite. Well, hit that star here, set favorite, and the favorite has been saved. And now it's on your favorite list here, Zurich. And then you've got suggestions. These are some destinations you went to which are recommended or suggested by your Škoda EV, and you find those suggestions up here. The last two are here. But what if you do not like to have those? Well, it's kind of easy. Simply swipe to the left and delete them. Of course, you can also delete your favorites like this, and you can delete the last destinations like this. So you've got a lot of options to store your favorites and your destinations for quick access here. Now finally the time has come to talk about the wonderland of the settings here. And this is only the first level of settings. Let's start out with the basic functions here, because within here there are two very important things. First, learn usage pattern. If you activate this, the car will learn the streets and routes you drive, and even if you do not activate navigation, it will tell you, well, should we drive this way, should we drive that way, and give you information about that. And define preferred point of interest categories. Here you can sort them by preferred or alphabetical, and can say what you want. So you have them on the search bar down here. You can also, for example, remove petrol stations if you like. But this is only the basic settings. Now let's go a step to route guidance and routes. Well, you've got your basic settings you might know, like avoid traffic congestion. So the car will ask you, should I pick an alternative route? You have the range warning, you have country information, border crossings, and you have route options you might already know, like avoid motorways. And one function I really like here is avoid routes requiring toll stickers, except because I have a toll sticker for Switzerland, yet not for any other countries. So I can set it to avoid them and don't bother me while I'm in Switzerland. But all the magic happens when you go to the electric vehicle route planner, which you can also access in the charging menu when you go to settings. This is the same route planner. If I deactivate it here, it's also deactivated here. Let's activate that again, because I highly recommend you keeping this electric vehicle route planner active, because then it automatically plans charging stops with route guidance active, like you saw in all the examples. So now let's say you don't have that option. The route gets immediately recalculated, and if you now look at the map, you see no charging stopovers. Now you have to care completely on your own how to do that. And of course you can do that. I would not recommend it at the beginning. So let's activate that again. And with the next two settings, which are really important, you can set the remaining range at the destination and the remaining range at the charging stops. And experienced EV drivers set that to the lowest amount possible. Yet if you are unsure, simply set it to 30 or 40 kilometers. And when you do, it will get recalculated, and you will now see that when I set that limit up, I get more chargers. Now there are 3 chargers, not 2 anymore. So if you're not happy with charge planning and think, well, it's too tight, I don't want to charge with 5% SOC, or if you think, why should I charge with so much remaining energy left, these settings are your way to go. Next option, if you use the Power Pass, then activate this option and the car will only plan Power Pass stations. If not, like I don't use Power Pass, deactivate that function. And finally, show range on map. Well, this is simply the range cloud here. Let him calculate the route. When I zoom out, this one here, so that you know how far can you go with the current state of charge. And now for the final option, which is the most important one when you ask me. Automatic optimization of rapid charging. And this one here should be active, because then your battery gets preheated if it's too cold for rapid charging. And it gets automatically heated, this is the function here, when you plan chargers in the navigation. Of course, then when heating starts, you will get stop battery heating here, so you can manually deactivate preheating, which was automatically started, but of course you don't have to. You can use third-party apps for route planning, like the apps you have in Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I use Apple CarPlay here, and of course you can use Apple Maps, and you can use, for example, Google Maps or any third-party provider you like. But you should keep in mind that only with the native app of your system, so Apple Maps for Apple CarPlay and Google Maps for Android Auto, this will work with the navigation system of your car. So if I do a planning in Apple Maps, for example, let's go to, I don't know, Groningen in the Netherlands, Groningen, there, and hit start, then it will be transferred over to the navigation system of your Škoda or your ELROQ. Not here, there's nothing, yet in your cockpit display and in your head-up display this becomes available. But as soon as you use a different map, like a Google Maps here, let's do the same. And let's go to Groningen, and start this route planning here. You will see, of course, you have it in Google Maps, but you don't have it in your car. It does not get transferred. There's always more to explore, but for an entry to the route and charge planning, this should be it. And I hope it was helpful for you. And if it was, then please give that video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss out any new video. For example, the next episode number 7, where we talk about LoRa, the voice control of your Škoda EV. And also consider to give me a small donation if my videos are helpful for you. As I do this for a living, I am dependent on that income. And I try to keep the advertising at bay to not spam you. So maybe just think about helping me out here if I helped you out with my video content. And then we see each other in the next video. And until then, stay full of energy.